Hi everyone, it's already day 3 of our Eileen pool tote sew along. So today we are sewing up the interiors. So I have them all set and ready to go. I have the slip pocket side, which I have just divided down the center like I do in the tutorial. And I have the zipper pocket side. The only thing I did different is I did top stitch it around a little bit a different way just to make it a bit easier. So these are the two that we are working on today. Let me know in the comments if you are joining in. So if you are catching this at the end of April 2024, I am doing a sew along in my Facebook group. Please join in. We're having so much fun. There is a coupon code that's good till the end of the month in the comments as well. And if you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing or giving a thumbs up. It helps my channel grow. And if you're looking for just like the full-length tutorial, I do have that video also linked below in the description, where I do the whole tutorial in one sitting with timestamps along the bottom. So enjoy! Okay, so we are going to start building our interiors. So on both your lining piece A's, you're going to mark your center on the top and the bottom. And I'm going to start with our zipper side first. So I have my zipper overlay here. I'm going to put double-sided tape again down the center. That should keep it out of my stitch line. Or you could hold it in place some other way if you don't have double-sided tape. Like in how I was using like Scotch tape even before. All right, and then what you're going to do is measure down from the top the given amount in the pattern. And I'm just lining it back up with my ruler here. And what I do is I'm going to peel off one side of this first. And fold it in half to find my center. You could find your center before doing this. I just do it all at once. And then once I have my center, I am going to line that up with my center line. And I stick the top part down first against my ruler. I'm just moving a little bit so I can see it better from the angle. And again, I'm just checking from the edge that it is indeed centered. All right, and then I just double checked, make sure that it was centered. So now I'm going to peel off my other side of double-sided tape and then gently make sure this is straight and stick it down. So I have it completely centered. So now I'm going to take it to the machine and I'm going to top stitch along the outside edge only. So not this inner box yet, only the outside edge. I'm going to leave my tails long and I'm not going to backstitch at the beginning. So I'm going to leave long tails, go all the way around, end in the same hole that I start in, and leave my tails long again so I can tie them off on the back. So I have top stitched around my zipper overlay. I've left my 2 threads long in the front and in the back. So I am just pulling on one. It creates a little loop and I'm pulling the thread from the front to the back. So same here. It creates a little loop and I'm just using a stiletto to catch it. And again, bring them all to the back. So the front here, you can't even tell where, because I started and stopped in the same hole. So I am going to tie them off on the back. I usually triple knot mine. And if you are using like a cotton woven or something, or even this, you could put some fray check on it. I have never had a problem, so I don't usually put any fray check, and I just trim them, and I don't burn them off with a lighter because I don't want to accidentally burn my knot away. And then the next step is we're going to slice a hole. I just use my seam ripper and cut down the center, and then we are going to cut out this rectangle. So I like to cut from the backside so I can make sure that I'm not accidentally trimming off my zipper overlay. That would be terrible to cut in it after all that work. So yep, we're just going to cut out so our entire rectangle is, you don't see any green inside of it. All right, so we have just trimmed our rectangle so we don't see any of the lining. And I'm going to set this aside for a minute because we are going to prep our zipper pocket and lining. So this is the interior zipper pocket lining. And I have my zipper tape here and my pull. This was just like a scrap that I had, so it's not cut evenly or anything at all. So I'm going to put my pull on and then trim everything up. So I always put my pulls on first. You can put it on after. I just don't ever want to forget it. So I am going to lay my zipper tape with the teeth side facing up on the correct side of the lining. So this is the correct side. The back has that PVC, and I am going to clip it here to baste it in place. I'm leaving the edges a little bit long because they're not cut straight. And like I said, for the exterior, I move my pull even when I'm clipping, because I find if you don't, that's how you can get it crooked. Okay. I'm actually going to trim a little bit off now just to make it more manageable. And we are going to take this to the machine and base stitch along the top here, basting our zipper in place. Okay, so I'm going to show this next step while I'm at the sewing machine. I have just basted the zipper down on one side. So now I'm going to pull my zipper tape up to the other side of the lining. And again, it's the right side facing up. I'm lining up the edges of my lining because I cut my zipper tape a little bit long. And I'm going to clip it in place and baste this side the same exact way that I base stitched the first. So you'll see it's clipped to the top and the wrong side of the lining is exposed on each side. So I just finished stitching the zipper to our lining. Now in the pattern, I do it where I have you put this behind. We're gonna like line it up with the zipper pocket, right? So I have you stitch the top of the rectangle first, then flip your pocket up, stitch the bottom, and then the sides. But I'm gonna show you a different way for this one. So we're still gonna put it behind like this, and you can put double-sided tape along the zipper on the edges. It will help hold it in place. I don't usually do that because it comes too close to my stitch line and then my needle gets sticky. So what I do is I kind of line it up here and then line it up further when I go to my machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it behind the box, but we need our lining facing up. And then so when I'm at my machine, I'll align this so it is straight or almost straight, as good as I can get. And we're going to start on the left hand side and come all the way across, top stitching to the right. And I'm going to leave my tails long on both sides so I can tie them off like I did in the back. So once I get the bottom done, then I'm going to flip my lining down, and then I'm going to start on this edge and go across along the top edge and then back down the side, meeting, keeping my tails long so I can tie them off. And this way you don't have to sew like 4 different times. You'll do the bottom and then the other 3. But the most important part is that you are moving your linings out of the way. So I'm going to reverse it a little bit and start with my bottom stitch here. Okay, so I have just finished stitching all 3 sides of my zipper and the bottom. You could see in the time lapse where I tied it off. I've tied it off again on the back. You could definitely backstitch. I do that sometimes, just depending, but I wanted to show you how you could finish it cleanly. You definitely want to make sure that you open your zipper and check that you have not accidentally sewn your pocket closed, because if you did not flip it up when you were sewing the bottom and then back down, your pocket will be sewn closed. That's like the one downside about overlays. It's so easy to do. Okay, so now we have to seal up the sides of our pocket. So the bottom is already closed. So I'm going to take it to the machine. I just fold my top down on this side, sew along the seam allowance, back stitching in the beginning and the end on this side, and then repeat that for this edge, and it will seal up our zipper pocket. Okay, so I have just finished sewing up the edges. If you want, you could trim your seams. I'm just only going to trim my zipper tape to the edge. If you're trimming zipper tape, you might want to heat seal the end so it doesn't fray. I mean, knock on wood, I've never had an issue with it fraying, even if I don't heat seal it. But it's definitely can help. Okay, so once you have everything trimmed, you can set this one aside and grab your slit pocket for the interior. Okay, so now I have my interior slip pocket, the piece that I want on the outside, and then my lining. You are going to put them right sides together and clip them along the long edges. We're only clipping the long edges because we're not sewing the short. Basically, we're going to make a tube. So you're going to clip along the bottom and the top and then sew at the seam allowance along both of them, leaving our edges open. Alright, and while I'm at the sewing machine, we have just sewed it and our edges are open. So you're just going to reach through and turn it right sides out. And if you're using a cotton woven, or if you feel comfortable pressing, you can press your seams out because we want to flatten this as best as we can and top stitch along the top here. So if you have a directional print, make sure that you have it facing the correct way. So once I get this flattened out, then I'm going to top stitch along the top. So I have just finished top stitching across our slip pocket for the interior. So now we're going to attach it to our last lining, and you're going to take a ruler and put it across the measurement given in the pattern from the top of the cutout squares for the box corners. And the reason why we're not putting it right to the bottom is because we don't want, I don't want this to be caught up in the seam allowance when I'm boxing those corners. So now what I'm doing is I'm just lining up the side and clipping that into place. And I'm going to take it to the machine, and I'm going to stitch along the right side, come across the bottom here, and then up the side. I only have clips here. This is actually sewed, but because I did not iron them to kind of hold it down, it is just keeping it in place for me. So you can see it's lifted up here. It's not quite to the bottom of the top of the box corner. So again, we're going to sew down both sides and across the bottom here, securing our slip pocket. And you probably want to use a smaller stitch length, not a top stitch, because that's what's going to support what's in the pockets. Just stitched on the pocket on the sides and the bottom. And so the last thing I want to do is I want to divide my pocket, and I'm just going to divide it in half. So I'm just measuring from the edge here. You could split it up any way that you want. You could do like threes, and I am just gonna sew a line. So I'm using chalk so it's easy to get off, and I'm just gonna sew a line going down the center, back stitching at the beginning and the end, making sure it's strong because these are gonna get tugged on. But you could put rivets here. You could divide it any way that you would like. Alright, so I have just top stitched down my center here. So my slip pocket side is now completed, and we've already completed our zipper pocket side. So that concludes day 3 of sewing up the interior, and now tomorrow we're going to put it all together. All right, so we have finished up our interiors. I'm so excited. We're going to put everything together tomorrow. I could not wait to see all the beautiful pictures of the Facebook group of everyone that is joining in. So let me know in the comments if you're having a good time, and please consider subscribing or giving a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Thanks. See you tomorrow.